Ciao e bentornati, welcome back to Pillole D'Italiano. Nell'episodio di oggi vorrei parlare di come tradurre un'espressione inglese molto comune. L'espressione è it makes me. It makes me happy, for example. It makes me sad. It makes me think. Well, sarete felici di sapere che in italiano ci sono due traduzioni possibili per questa espressione it makes me. But before we jump in, if you appreciate this type of content and you would like to learn to speak Italian like a native, you might appreciate a whole bunch of videos that I created along the same lines. I grouped all these videos together in a playlist that it's called Vocabulary. You're going to find a link to access it just right now above my head. So that's for your convenience. Now you know where to find all of these videos that belong to the same category, so to speak. Va bene, adesso torniamo al video di oggi. Allora, ci sono due modi per dire it makes me blank in italiano. Well, your first instinct will be to translate it as mi fa. Most likely, you're coming from the verb fare, to do or to make. You're taking the it person, which is fa, and me is me in Italian, just spelled differently. So it makes me, you will want to say mi fa, and then continue with your sentence. Now, 50% of the time, you will be correct, but the other half of the time, you will be incorrect. And I'll tell you the difference. When you want to say that something makes you happy, sad, joyful, in any way you use an adjective after that it makes, you cannot use mi fa. Mi fa works well only with verbs. So every time you want to say, it makes me think, it makes me sleep, it makes me smile, those are instances where you're perfectly fine using mi fa. Mi fa pensare, mi fa sorridere, mi fa addormentare, etc. But you wouldn't say mi fa felice or mi fa triste. That's not exactly right. So what are we going to do? What verb are we going to use instead? We're going to use the verb rendere, rendere. And the third person singular will be rende. So mi rende triste, mi rende felice. Well, it is as simple as that. So before you rush into translating it makes me as mi fa across the board, just slow down a second and think. Is that thing or that person making me do an action, or are they making me feel a certain way or be a certain way, coming with an adjective right after? If it's an adjective, you should use mi rende instead. And if by any chance you did not really study grammar in school, or you don't have a good grasp of grammar, so let's get away from those definitions of adjectives and verbs. Think about what word would work in English by placing a to in front of it. To, not the number, is a to. So for example, eat, you could say to eat. Sleep, you could say to sleep. Those are verbs, those are actions. If you take a word such as happy, it doesn't make sense to say to happy. Or sad, it doesn't make sense to say to sad. So those are adjectives. Anyway, I hope that this further helps you make that distinction clear and learn how to use mi fa versus mi rende when you want to translate it makes me. Fatemi sapere se avete delle domande, lasciate pure un commento, and of course you can use the comment section not just to ask questions and clarifications, but also to practice as usual. I'm more than happy to give you feedback as soon as I can. E prima di lasciarci, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new to it, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will receive a notification every time I release a new video. E noi ci vediamo tra una settimana. Ciao, a presto!